person talking about love, thine brother is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher.
Hey, Chalk Talkers, welcome back. We're here with another great episode of Chalk Talk.
You can't say it's great yet.
It might be.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be pretty good.
I'm an optimistic person. I like to think glass half full,
That's
not
good.
half empty. So,
Anytime I wear my Savage gym hat, it's going to be good.
I'm wearing my lucky, now Damian Lillard jersey.
which is
The
bright,
number O.
classy.
Yeah.
The
So,
zero.
I'm not the white trash kid at a 7-Eleven.
Went out and got
We've already-
that line paper.
Yeah.
And made
We've
it
already
look good.
determined we can't say
This
white
isn't
trash
even-
anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's actually suppressing white people that are poor.
This, any particular colored trash. That sounds way better.
Really, too, I think that's the last thing the white man needs is something else holding him back. I mean, it's
I know.
Makes it tough.
Sure would suck to have all that privilege and opportunity.
right.
I'd like to take a second to have you guys notice I'm drinking coffee with Slingshot Protein, heavy whipping cream out of my Sports Nutrition Center cup.
All right.
That's cool. So it's so good for you. Is it going to help you lose weight?
Nope.
So that's not bulletproof?
Nope.
So that's not the special kind of coffee where you dump 500 calories worth of straight fat into it to lose weight?
No, I'm going to do 6-minute abs in 4 minutes after the show.
It's
That's
too
what's gonna
fast.
do
You
it.
can't
Hold
get,
on.
you
Wait
can't,
a minute.
can't get
I'm gonna
abs
hit
in
my-
4
I'm going
minutes.
to hit my catabolic window.
Oh. Okay.
Mhm.
So wait, so you're gonna condense the 6-minute abs into?
I'm
4
going to do them
minutes.
so fast, I'm going to do them in 4 minutes.
So it's like
okay.
sex.
Yeah, basically.
Alright,
I'm
well,
getting like 30 minutes of foreplay done in a minute and a half.
There we go. I was saying, giving him 4 minutes on sex, that's pretty nice.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's.
generous.
I mean, is it a continuous 4 minutes, or are we doing it like hit style?
That's
30
all
off,
the way from
60 off.
that's all the way from the door closing to the door opening.
Ah, yeah. Sandwich made at the end of the 4 minute
Yeah,
mark.
it's like, hold up, I'm coming. I just
A
gotta.
little less mayo.
No, you're not gonna make this. I'll just make it myself. You got a little ice chest next to the bed.
There we go.
All right, so Josh, I need to get your opinion on this.
All right.
Big discussion right now is, does LaMarcus Aldridge get booed his first time in Portland?
No, I'll make a jersey and wear it in his honor.
There we go.
Come on. He doesn't get booed?
No, he can't get booed.
Here's my thought. When they introduce him, I think they should show a little clip, show some of his highlights in Portland. Everybody does a standing ovation. Hey, thanks for your 9 years of service. But once we're in the game, you got to boo him.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. First intro, first time he's back in Portland, yes, he's got to get the standing ovation. He has to be cheered. In the middle of the game, yeah, I'm going to boo him. But that's because that's just out of being him not a Blazer anymore. But the fact of all the time that he put in with us, the work that he did for the city, for the Blazers themselves, he deserves a standing ovation when he first comes back.
Yeah, in 9 years, he got us out of the first round once, so he did a ton.
But look at the other people we had
I
to
know.
do things for us. You
I
know what
know.
I mean? Like Brandon Roy was the guy that was going to take us out of it. Greg Oden was the
I had
miracle
his
first
shirt.
round pick that we were going to fly through, and Aldridge was the one who stayed around. You know, I know everyone's upset about him saying, "I'm going to be a Blazer forever. I want to be the best Blazer."
Yeah.
That wasn't his idea, though. I mean, that's a media ploy. That was a thing so people wouldn't talk about him being traded, so
Yeah.
we could focus this last year on being a better team. It worked. I mean, Wesley Matthews doesn't get hurt at the end of the next year. We have the same team that we have, and we are running for a title.
Yeah.
We're making a shot at it. That injury really hurt us and put us back in that rebuild stage. If I'm Aldridge, though, I mean, I can't fault the guy for playing for one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, to play with some of the best players in NBA history. And
Maybe
have-
for one season.
Hey, that's fine, but that one
He needs
season.
a 4-year deal.
But if he wins a championship in that one season, it's worth it.
So does he do a KG and eventually come back to Portland to end his career?
No.
No.
He's always. I mean, hometown is Texas. Hometown
Yeah.
San Antonio. He's wanted to be there. I think we all saw the writing on the wall. We just didn't want to admit it because he was such a good guy. He seemed like a very good person for the city and as a player. Nobody wanted to go ahead and admit the fact that he's going to go somewhere else. Now that he's gone, he'll get cheered, but then you got to go back being booed because he's still a Spurs.
He's the enemy
still
now.
one of the toughest teams in the West. So we have to put on our game face to go play them.
So I watched the Brandon Roy clip of the Dallas game, Game 4, and so the end of the third quarter through the fourth, and almost got a little choked up watching him play. In the background of it, it was talking his discussion he had with the reporter after the game, saying that he wasn't sure he was able to play again, and he was hurt during the whole game. Doing some of the stuff he did, he said it hurt so bad, but he wanted to win the game. It's like, man, this guy like put it all on the line.
Oh yeah,
for
he
one
gave
game.
everything.
It's crazy.
And now his career's over.
Yeah.
But
He retired as a Minnesota Timberwolf.
yeah, that was a mistake for him trying to come back and playing those 2 games with Minnesota and then being done again. That was stupid. He should have just ended it. And I know it's hard to quit. I mean, I'm sure you guys are worried about that at some point too. There's going to come a time where your body physically cannot lift 600 pounds over your head. Yeah, that's got to be
You
scary
only
for a guy
total
like
600, don't you? So you're fine for a while.
that. So you
Yeah, I got
time.
plenty of time. My 200-pound squats aren't going to damage my knees.
That is true. What do we got going on in powerlifting this week?
I haven't heard of anybody talking shit about anything.
Amit just made it down to 181. I saw that this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
7% body fat, and he lost 26 pounds.
that's insane.
Jeez.
That is crazy. So good for him to cut
Yeah.
that much weight.
Mhm.
That's huge.
It's big.
What else we have going on? Did we ever talk about the seminar?
You weren't very excited about anything last time we talked. Because you're like, we have a UPA meet, we have a seminar at Dragon Fitness. We have a seminar coming up next weekend.
I'm not talking about our seminar. I'm talking about the Boris seminar.
Oh yeah, we already talked about that like in 3 different episodes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you were gone.
And then there was actually the episode with them on it.
oh yeah. No, I saw that.
Oh shit.
I was just asking if you were like maybe wrapped up, maybe like a summary on the seminar, and if you do it again, and
I would absolutely do it again.
oh,
Yeah, we did that. That happened.
Well, that's all right.
That's cool.
my back's starting to feel almost halfway better.
That's good.
I actually did an actual workout yesterday.
Did you bench?
No, back work.
Nice.
But first time I've done that in 6 weeks.
It was a very minor grunt getting into the car today. So
Minor.
That was nice. It was minor. So I was
You know, the most painful thing right now is my sciatic nerve. When I go to sit down, it feels like it almost takes my breath away because it's so painful going from standing to sitting. And then once I sit, I feel good. Or once I stand for a long period of time, I'm good. But it's that transition sucks.
not working.
No.
Jaron, I see you have your pink eye somewhat cleared up. That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's good.
That's better.
Yeah, I didn't actually have pink eye. I looked back over the history of my personal choices. None of them pointed to pink eye.
But see, I figure if I just continue to say pink eye enough,
Pink eye, then people are gonna only
then people are
remember
just
pink
going
eye.
to assume pink
And they're
eye.
gonna say Jaron pink eye, Jaron,
Right, they're
Jaron
not
pink
gonna
eye, and
think
then
it.
subliminally
Right.
they're gonna assume that I just freaking have assholes in my eyes all the time.
Right. Which, I mean,
Probably
isn't a
not far
terrible
from the
assumption, but...
Well, they're dudes, assholes.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't specify what type of asshole was
Yeah.
in his face.
I'm not caffeinated enough to even defend myself. Yeah, no pink eye.
No pink eye, that's good. You also have some more stress lifted off. You have a place to live now,
Yeah.
so that will be nice.
We're moving next weekend, so we're gonna be going wedding Friday, seminar at Dragon Fitness. Where is that place? I know it's in
Vancouver.
Washington. Okay, Vancouver. In Vancouver, and then I'm moving on Sunday.
Nice. So yeah, you're gonna.
I'm busy next weekend, by the way.
That's fine. Everybody always is when I
I'm
need
like
them.
super busy, though.
What if I offered you free beer just to come sit on my couch after I move it myself? And
I
you
get
stare
free
at
up
it?
15 or 20 minutes.
I'll keep the couch downstairs.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'll put a little fridge in there.
Is there stairs to get into the front door?
I don't think so. I've not ever
Yeah.
gone in the front door.
have
That's not
you-
true. I can't laugh at that. I've only gone in through the garage. I've only been there one time.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think so. It's a two-story. There's those rocks that have speakers in them in the backyard. That's kind of a cool feature.
Nice. What? Like why are there speakers and rocks?
Well, so then there's sound wired outside, but they're indoor
Oh, for
outdoor.
the outdoor,
Yeah, they're
okay.
outdoor speakers, but they look like rocks.
It's like, why the hell would you have a rock in your house?
Well-
The speaker would look better next to your TV than
Yeah,
a
well-
rock would.
Yeah, but what
Right.
else am I gonna listen to 2 Chainz on?
That's a good point.
I thought you listened to Journey.
No,
No?
no.
Tom Petty?
Yeah,
Oh, really? You listen to Tom Petty?
a little bit.
Huh. Fooled me.
What's wrong with Journey?
Nothing's wrong with Journey.
Oh.
I thought you listened to Journey.
I thought you were gonna start bashing Journey. I'm like, hey, hold on.
Whoa there! Whoa! Don't you talk about Journey.
Don't make me go to 7-Eleven.
I'm not gonna lie. The
I'm gonna
song,
get a tall boy and kick your ass.
the song "Don't Stop Believing" is the only thing
I
that will
hate that
make
song,
my
though.
daughter instantly quiet down. If she's crying over anything, put that on YouTube. Quickly hit "Don't Stop Believing" and
That's hilarious.
she's quiet listening.
Wow.
I worked an event here in town last year, I believe, and they had was this production, and they had part of it was it's like a magic themed thing.
Why you gotta make fun of magic? You know I do magic, right?
Do you really? Okay, shut up.
Apparently I shouldn't have said that. You can make fun of it. It's
Do you
fine.
actually do magic?
Yeah, I actually do magic.
Oh, well, this guy wasn't a real magician.
You can make fun of it. It's fine.
End scene. So this guy was pretending to be a magician. Or illusionist? Do you prefer illusionist?
I like magician, but
Okay. This guy was not actually a magician. And maybe you'll be offended by his showmanship then.
I might.
What he would do is he would make bad puns and he'd walk around like dramatically slapping things. So he'd be like, he'd put this chick in a box and then be like, boom, and then whatever you do, don't stop believing. And then it'd cue the music and it would drop. And I was I was at like one of the rehearsals and I literally had to watch him slap a box and then have it start playing Journey probably 35 times. So that song is like permanently burnt in the back of my mind.
Sure. Well, that's fair. Yeah, and magicians are one of those where they're either, magicians aren't cool, but at the same time, they're either really, really cool, really good,
Yeah.
or it's really stupid.
Can you do a
You
magic
totally
trick
just
right now?
made yourself sound like a carny. So I was helping at this event one time.
Wait, were
It's
you
like
wearing
you
that
like
jersey?
traveling. You like traveling with the circus?
No.
What is this?
No. So I'm not going to name the company, but it's a larger company in town. My wife helps on the production for their annual sales meeting every year.
Okay.
It's like $100,000+ production
Wow.
that they put on. They fly everybody out and they come out. And we did an event with them here in a gym. We built the Ninja Warrior course.
Okay.
So same company, but this is last year's theme was like "Don't Stop Believing" or something. It's a pun, clearly. And then this
I
year,
don't think it's really a pun,
well,
but
I don't know. I want to talk about you being a magician.
yeah.
How long have you done that?
He's actually a pretty good magician.
Yeah, I've been working on it probably just really like seriously the last year, maybe year and a half.
Are you good?
And I'm decent.
He can hide 6-pack abs pretty easily.
Do it every day.
Yep.
You had abs in there.
Yes.
It's all hidden. Just waiting. It's a big illusion
It's a trick.
at the end.
Can you do a trick right now?
I can't do right now. I don't have a deck of cards or anything on me.
I have a deck of cards downstairs.
Well, maybe on a
Maybe
different
then.
episode, I'll do a trick for you. Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
Talking about the American Ninja Warrior, did you guys see DLB try that?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes, I did actually.
she's in phenomenal shape. She runs through the first, 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, blows it through the water very easily, and then lost her grip. She had to grab onto this like circular thing,
Yeah.
and it rolls around over some water. And
did
I think
see
her
that,
hands
actually.
just slipped and she fell. I think she's the kind of gal that could have breezed through that if she could have got through that part.
Yeah.
I watched somebody. I don't know the name of the female, but I watched a female almost make it to the end last week when it was on, and those things are ridiculous. Like I think the first little hop I could do, and then that's it. There's nothing else.
That's
in that
what we
course that I
built
think I
here in
can
the
do.
gym.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, we literally I tore the whole place down and then took everything out, and they rebuilt a couple of the obstacles, and we had the not warp wall, that's the round one, but the whatever the hell it is, where you
Lily
jump in
pads
the
or
water. Yeah.
whatever,
So we did that.
If they ever have like an event where somebody could sit there, drink beer, and watch Sports Center, I'd totally win that.
Don't you already do that?
Would.
Yeah, but if there was an event like American Ninja
Well, you want to
Warrior,
get sponsored for it, so.
yeah, I could do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You could
just throwing it out there.
Larson watch something.
Yeah, Larson watch.
Feet up. All right, so today we're talking about competition day, how to prepare for it, get ready, what to do during that day. Let's start with just beginning. Before the competition, night before, Jaren, what are you doing the night before to make sure you're ready to go?
I have no attention span, so I start 2 days out actually getting all my gear together. Like I have to have the bag laid out with everything on the floor so I can see it before. I can't even put it in the bag because then there's a chance I'm going to forget something. So the bag is out. I've got my main pair of knee wraps. I've got my backup pair of knee wraps. My backup pair of knee wraps just in case. I've got my wrist wraps. I got my other pair of wrist wraps. And that's all I need because all I do is bench press. Then I have my belt, and I've got my singlet, my socks, my shoes, all that shit is laid out. I also pack up my food and liquids and stuff for the next day, so I typically will carry a gallon of Gatorade and a gallon of water.
I said, what type of food are you packing up, getting ready?
Bagel sandwiches.
All right, bagel sandwiches.
I pretty much every time we'll make bagel sandwiches with like a little bit of cream cheese and then some like meat and cheese and shit in there.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot more carbs in a bagel than there is in a regular bread.
Oh, all right.
So calorie dense, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, a lot of carbs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'll usually eat a couple of those throughout the day and then just drink Gatorade.
All right.
So I'm packing all that stuff up.
Adrian, what about you? What day before? What are we doing?
Well, day before, typically it's after the weigh-in. You know, I start eating quite a bit, trying to space it out over every few hours. But just trying to wrap my head around what I'm going to do the next day, really visualizing all my attempts. I'm a firm believer, like visualizing what you're going to do and doing it flawlessly really works well for me. So I spend quite a bit of the day doing that. I really like to kind of sit by myself and put on something that's kind of motivational, maybe like Eric Thomas. There's a couple like YouTube videos that are kind of my go-to. Like to sit in a nice quiet room, listen to those, and just really just kind of put myself in the mood of if I was at the competition. Mm-hmm. You know, I even go as far as visualizing how my warm-ups are going to feel, just kind of thinking about the entire day. I don't really try to do anything special that night as far as like going to bed early or, you know, putting too much more thought into what I'm already doing. I don't like to pack my bags the night before. I always feel when I do that, I do forget something. I do a lot better like flying out the door, running late type deal. So in the morning I wake up, my gym bag always has everything I need in it, minus a singlet. So I'll throw a singlet in there and head to the gym.
So if you guys were to live together, you would be the odd couple of powerlifting, like before competition.
Either that or we would complete each other.
Yeah, probably.
Because I'd lay it out the night before, and then he'd like put it all back, and then take it all out, and then like we'd end up having everything we needed. It'd be great.
See, I could see Jared. You'd be the guy standing at the door, like, "Let's go! We're gonna be late."
That's totally me.
As Adrian tells you to fuck off as he's running around.
Basically.
I try not to like. When I'm putting everything together, I really don't put a lot of thought into it. You know, how he preps his meals and, you know, drinks and stuff. I am completely opposite. Like, I wake up in the morning, grab my bag, my singlet, go out the door, and it's like, crap, first thing, coffee. Get coffee, and then it's like the clouds start moving away, and I'm like, okay, now I need to go to the store and get this stuff.
See, I'm not a morning person, though, so I do a whole lot better staying up late, and I never end up sleeping all that well the night before I meet. I just, if I know I have to be awake, this happens to me every single week when we shoot this. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta be up early on Friday, like, we're gonna podcast, it's gonna be great. And last night, I don't think I went to sleep till like 2:30 or 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm normally not in bed till like 1 around then anyways, but I just can't sleep when I know I need to be up the next day.
That's one of the advantages of how many times I've competed at, really at this point, it doesn't affect me at all. You know, the night before, you know, when I first started lifting, I'd obviously get the jitters and really worry about how I'm going to perform. But now, when I do a competition, it just doesn't, it's just another day. I just try to treat it as another training day.
I was gonna say, do you think you ever, like, in the beginning, were you more organized in the fact of, like,
Sure.
I need these foods laid out because of this and that? And,
Yeah.
you know, maybe now that you've been through it so many times, you can go on autopilot and cruise through.
Yeah, I think before I probably was a lot more organized, had everything more dialed in. Now I know when I go to a competition, I have a pretty good idea when I need to lift. So if I have to leave and go to the store, or if I have to leave and go run an errand, it's not really that big of a deal.
Sure.
You know, it just kind of just go off and do it. It's not.
I do all 3 lifts, so I don't have time to leave during the middle of the meet.
I didn't think about that too. That is a pretty good point.
So,
Only having the one does
if
give
I
you a
don't-
little more leeway.
I've got to have everything planned out if I'm going to eat. And I don't typically like to eat very much the morning of the meet. But I've got to be there to time my warm-ups, to kind of pay attention to the different flights, the order of everything. getting through squats, and then kind of once I figure out the pacing of the meet, then I can relax a little bit, because I kind of have an idea of how long everything's taking, how long the flights are taking. I'll have an idea of about when Adrian's going to show up to roll in and bench press and then leave. And then I can start relaxing and being able to eat. But I can't ever count on a window to be able to leave the meet and come back.
Sure. So morning of, Jaron, let's say, like, what in order of importance for the things morning of? You just mentioned some of the things that you like to do, but what's the number one important thing that, morning of, I have to do this first?
Take a shit.
Well, that's a great, meaningful competition. Remember, guys, the first thing you do on day of competition, take a shit.
Typically, the day before, I've eaten a very significant amount of food.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been under any significant amount of intra-abdominal pressure, but squats are the first lift of the day. So if you don't clear everything out before you go squat, you got a whole day worth of trying to regain your weight after your weigh-in. That's just sitting there waiting to go somewhere.
All right, that's actually pretty fair.
You got to get that. Plus, then you throw a little pre-workout into it, and then you get the caffeine shit. So you just got to get it out of there.
Okay, that's fair. Have you ever had a close call squatting? I don't want to change the subject at all, but that.
Yeah, I have a couple of times. And the thing is, when you're wearing a singlet, and this is why again I do it the morning of. When you're wearing a singlet, you basically have to get naked to take a shit. Mm-hmm. So the process, and since I can't just leave the meet and come back. There's one bathroom half the time, and there's 13 other people in line. So,
sure. And they're all doing those types of shits.
Yeah, they're all doing those kinds of shits, and
follow any of them.
That's one of the interesting things with me. When I first started lifting, I always had this idea that morning of, you need to eat a big breakfast. You got to be fueled up for the day, right? And so I would typically go out to breakfast at some restaurant and order 2 plates of whatever. It never failed me that as soon as I started warming up, moving around, I got my singlet on, getting ready to go, 3/4 of the way through the warm-ups, like, whoop, oh no, I gotta go to the bathroom. And that's not good.
No.
When you're taking 15 minutes away from your typical warm-up, that's not good, because you almost have to start warming up all over again. Mm-hmm. So I learned that lesson definitely the hard way.
So you really do have to schedule in a shit before.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You want to have that dialed in.
Okay. So, after you've evacuated the bowels, let's go. What's the number 2 thing? Adrian, for you, what's the second thing then for morning of that you need to kind of pay attention to?
Just kind of my energy level. There's some days you wake up and you kind of feel like maybe a cold is coming on. And that's typical when you start cutting weight. You'll really feel crappy the next day. So fluids is super important. And that's kind of the first thing on my mind is right away I'm drinking coffee. But there's all these other fluids I need to get in, and so I'm trying to get all these things together, and mix in, drink in some BCAAs and some coffee and some protein, maybe a little pre-workout to get me a little bit going. Those are the types of things I'm worried about first thing in the morning.
Okay. I do fluids too, just because that's I still stay with primarily liquids the day of the meet, just because the food really does bog me down, and I've tried a few different ways, but if I have a big breakfast, then I just want to go back to sleep. So it's fluids, and then also trying to time out when I'm going to actually start caffeinating, because I've had it be where I wake up with my first couple meets is all right, we're going to go, it's powerlifting day, fuck yeah, pre-workout at home. And then I'm all keyed up when I'm driving there, and we're basically pre-exhausting myself. Right. And then you've got the athlete meeting, and then you've got warm-ups, and then I'm 2:42, so I'm typically in the second or third flight. So I get all jacked up, and then it's literally 2.5 hours before I actually need to start doing anything.
Well, then it's also difficult when you're jacked up on your pre-workout to stay still. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's real easy for me to just crack back in a chair and hang out for a couple hours, where you put in a couple scoops of pre-workout, and you want to walk around, you're doing stuff. Oh, you want me to help load the weight? Okay, sure. And you're doing all this stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Right. That definitely does not work in your
Burns
favor.
A lot of energy.
Adrian, so you said that you like to spend alone time the night before. Do you do that the morning of also?
Yep.
I noticed at the Lift for Autism meet, there were a mix of, I feel like half the lifters were walking around talking with people, families here, they want to go say something. Then there were another half of people that I actually didn't see until they physically came out to lift, just because I didn't even know they were there, because they were doing their own thing. Jaren, what about for you? What do you prefer to be out and about? Do you like talking? Or you want to be by yourself?
Well, morning, like that for me, kind of his quiet time the day before is my drive to the meet. So I typically just drive over alone because I need to be there a few hours earlier than anybody else. So that's when I kind of I take that time to just kind of chill out and visualize everything. Sometimes I'll listen to music. Quite often I won't. I'll just kind of listen to nothing and be in my headspace for a little bit. Once I get to the meet, I'm pretty talkative. I mean, I have been coaching more at the last couple meets than lifting, so it also makes it a little easier for me to just run around and kind of bullshit with everybody. But I'm typically pretty social. When it's my actual time to lift, then I sit down and I get quiet. So I may be up and hopping around during the first or second flight, but once my warm-ups kick in, I like to do those, and then I like to just kind of sit, throw a hoodie on, and just kind of sit and be in my head and visualize what I'm doing. But I'm pretty good at flipping that switch between now it's time to do this and now it's time to actually have fun and enjoy the meet. Because I'm not gonna go there and pretend like my entire life is hinging on this one event. I'm not at that level in my lifting career, and that's just not really my personality.
Right.
Like I want to go there, I want to hang out with my group of friends that happen to enjoy doing my favorite thing, and when it's time for me to actually lift, then I'll kind of pull myself away.
That's what I know. My comparisons are a little different than your guys's, but for swimming, that's kind of the way that I was too when we had meets. It was all about the group, everything. We were hanging out, having a good time until it was a race or two before my event.
Yeah.
And then it's time for me to go stand in this corner,
Yep.
goggles on, everything by myself, ignoring the world. But before then, it was all about the team kind of a thing. Because even though it is an individual sport, you guys do work with teams and you have groups of people that you're all.
You want to help people too,
Yeah.
Especially new lifters. There's competitions you'll go to, and you'll see new guys that are kind of flustered, really unorganized. They're not sure how to prepare, and you want to kind of give them a minute of your time to help get them going and get them calmed down. This last competition I went to, this guy came up to me and said it's the first time he competed. He wants to eat but doesn't know how much to eat, and had all these questions. And it's like, just settle down for a second. Think about what you're doing. I mean, this is essentially, we're just going to work out. That's all we're doing. Calm down. If this goes bad, worst case scenario, this goes bad, right? You blew $100 on an entry fee. You learn from it. Now you can move on and do better at the next one. But don't put that kind of pressure on yourself, especially at your first competition. It should always be fun. I mean, you're paying this money. You're doing all these things to leading up to it. Make it so it's fun and enjoyable, not have all this pressure of, man, if I don't do this, the Mexican cartel is going to kill my family. It isn't like that.
Right.
Just make it fun.
Well, I think part of being social, and this is just because this is something that really stood out to me when I competed for the first time, is everybody was very friendly and helpful. And I kind of went in, I lifted for a long time, but I'd not ever been in a competitive lifting environment. And so I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool, this is awesome. Everybody's huge and way stronger than me. They're all going to laugh at you. So one of the things that stood out to me is how welcoming everybody was. And I kind of like to, especially now that I've been in it for a few years, I like to make sure that I'm doing my part to kind of create that for other people and make them feel welcome. And, I'm not huge, but I remember when I was younger in it, I remember looking up to the larger people at the meet and being like, oh shit, I want to be like them. And I want to be able to kind of be that for other people that are newer to the sport too. So I try to make it a point not to sit and look like I'm just a mouth breather in the corner.
One of the things that's really worked well for me, we talk about like in between lifts, and what's really worked well for me is putting on a hoodie, like you said, put on some headphones, put your head down, but I go sit where the audience sits. When you sit in the back room when everybody's warming up, people want to come up, hey man, nice job, good lift, how'd that feel? And they want to ask you questions. And I'm sure at times I've come across as being rude, like, hey, leave me alone. With the headphones on, head down, looking away, that doesn't stop people from still coming up and talking to you. So going out in the crowd, find a chair, there's not people around, people don't typically bother you out there, put your headphones in, sit down, and then you could still kind of watch the meet and judge how fast it's going. So I need to know when I need to go back there and start getting ready for my next attempt. And that works really well for me because I'm very much, I want to sit there and start dwelling on, if I don't get this attempt, who am I letting down? And those are the types of things that are going through my head, and it pisses me off. I think about disappointing my kids or disappointing Courtney, and it really gets me fired up. And the last thing I want is some guy to come up and go, "Hey, how did 550 feel?" It's like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. Move.
Right.
So that seems to help for me getting away.
So let's go with, you've done your warm-ups, now you've done your first lift, you're getting ready for your second lift. Adrian, what's going through your head of, you got your first lift, you got it, you're preparing for your second lift. What differs for the second lift from the first lift?
I really look at the weight. For instance, one of my last competitions, I went from like 550 to 570. And in my head, I was thinking, if I put a 10-pound plate in this hand and a 10-pound plate in this hand, that's all I'm adding. I could walk around with those all day, right? They don't impact the bar. So I have to imagine as if those aren't even on the bar, and I'm still going to press as hard as I did on the first attempt. But just try to wrap your head around how much we're putting on the bar. I don't make huge jumps, right? I don't make 100-pound jumps. So thinking about the physical weight being on there and wrapping your head around about how easy this is going to feel. And that's kind of what I focus on in between sets.
Now, what if you were to fail on your first? Does it change between you fail you don't get your first lift? Does that change your mental thought going into the second lift?
Yeah, it brings everything back because I always have a first, second, third attempt planned out. And when I miss my first attempt, I retake it for my second attempt. So that means my third attempt's only going to be my second attempt. So the whole day would be screwed up. Now the idea. What I try to think about is if I ever miss my first attempt, I need to make it up. I mean, I need to show that I'm capable of this, and I need to make it look super easy since I failed it.
Jaron, same sort of question for you, but this time I'm talking about going between events. Since you go from squatting and then deadlift and then bench.
Or squat, bench, dead.
Squat, bench, dead. What's mindset between I just finished squatting, getting ready for bench?
Probably a little bit different since out of the three, bench is my weakest lift.
Sure.
So the most nerve-wracking, and I try to stay calm, but the most nerve-wracking part of the day is that very first squat, just because that sets the tone for the rest of the day.
And you got to get your lifts in.
Yeah, you have to make a lift in each category or you bomb out.
Oh, okay.
So I typically will open more conservatively on that first squat than I will on the other two lifts, just to kind of get in the meat, I want that one to feel easy. I want that to build my confidence and kind of set the tone mentally and emotionally for the rest of the day. Going from squats into bench is not as tough. I mean, the only thing that's really caused me any issue in the past is just tendonitis, because I carry the bar pretty low on my back when I squat, and that puts a lot of pressure on the biceps and the elbows. So I usually will pop some ibuprofen before I squat just to kind of keep that at bay and then keep me feeling healthy for my bench attempts. I don't typically get nearly as nervous, I think, for bench. I mean, you have the bar dangling over your face, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I trust the spotters, and I don't typically take attempts that I don't think that I can get. So I'm not just YOLOing my way through a meet, so there's not as big of a question mark on that.
Do you think with bench being, you call it your worst event, do you think that's also part of the reason maybe why it's not as nerve-wracking for you, because you don't have
less expectations?
Right, you have less expectations, so
that makes sense.
It makes it a lot harder to fail at something when you have a high expectation. Everything you do there is going to be pretty good. So what about then going from bench to deadlift? What's the differences in that?
Deadlift's my best event, so it's kind of like going from the worst to the best. So I always kind of have my favorite lift at the end of the day.
Right.
Usually it's at 10 o'clock at night.
So
mentally though, what does that do for you? I mean, I assume like going from bench to the deadlift, your confidence has to be pretty high up. Does that affect what weights you target on like your first lift of deadlift? Do you maybe try and go harder?
I've typically opened a little bit lighter on those too, for the same reason as with the squats. This last meet I opened heavier than I normally do, and I liked doing that, so I think I'm going to do that in the future. But a lot of that's going to come down to how long the meet is, and how difficult my squat attempts felt, because my squat doesn't affect my bench outside of the elbow that much, but it does affect my deadlift. So if I'm feeling good after everything, then I go into deads and I feel great. If I had a shitty bench, then I go into deads and I was like, all right, well, I got to save this meet, and at least I get to do it with the lift that I'm the best at. But I enjoy deadlifting the most, so the end of the meet is the most fun for me.
You know what's crazy and I think is often overlooked is it's okay to do competitions not having the mindset that you're going to get a PR or you're going to break a record or something, right? Sometimes, especially when I was going after the 220 record, I was doing competitions just to increase my opener, just so I was comfortable with it, right? I had continuously opened up at 500 on the bench almost at every competition, and then I would make one really big jump and then a small jump. And I found that didn't really work well for me. My competitions were up and down. So I started doing competitions. I'd open up at 512, and then I opened up at 525, then I opened up at 540, then I opened up at 550, 560, and so that way you're getting comfortable with it. You know, if I ever laid down and 550 felt heavy, it's like, crap, well, this is my first attempt. I mean, I got to make it work. But it didn't work this competition, well, I'm going to do another one until I start feeling comfortable and make it so that your opener weight feels comfortable. So sometimes planning out competitions, maybe you're going to do 3, 4 of them throughout the year. The idea isn't to go balls out and shoot for a PR, but just getting comfortable with your opening attempts, making them so it's consistent.
Sure. Seems like it's kind of like one of those things, you know, it's like you got comedians, right? They do all those open mics so they can prepare for their special.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so you got to go out, you got to do that work to be prepared for your big move.
To gain experience as a competitor, gain experience as a performer. That makes sense. I like that.
All right, so what about now after the competition? Still day of, but afterwards now. You know, it's midnight. You just got done. You just got your little trophy. What's the steps? What do you do, Jaron, when you go home?
If it's midnight, I go home and die. That's what I did at the last one. I was like that. I just went home and I died. But if we get done earlier, then we'll typically go out to dinner or something.
Do like a little group hangout sort of thing. Is there certain things physically that you have to be careful of after competing? Making sure, you know, before you go to bed, you drink a certain amount of water or whatever else for your body to make sure you come back tomorrow. Okay, no, you just go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for me, nothing really changes. I try to go out that night, try to just blow off some steam, maybe shuffleboard. I like playing shuffleboard, so we'll go do that. Have a couple beers to help me sleep that night. Typically, though, if I'm just doing just a competition for fun, it isn't that stressful at the end. You know, you're kind of like, well, it is what it is. Here's the videos. Some of the competitions when I was going after the record, I would watch all the videos of my attempts and just kind of see where I could have made some difference with technique or bar speed and really kind of dwell on it. But the end is still the same. I still went out, had a couple beers to help me sleep that night, kind of unwind a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to sit in a room full of people that lift all the time, maybe have questions, try to be helpful, you know, being around, talking to everybody. Sometimes you just want, at the end of the day, just to go be by yourself or be with your significant other, sit there, have a beer or two to just kind of unwind a little bit.
Yeah. That was one thing I always wondered, because like when we would do that for, I hate to go back to swimming all the time, but that was the same sort of thing we did. We get done with the competition. It wasn't, once you're done with the competition, you kind of physically don't have to worry as much because you know you have time before your next competition. It's not go, go, go. So it was, the unwind period. Get everybody together, relax. Everybody gets to talk about, whatever, and kind of build those bonds that way, which then made going to practice, so much nicer the next day because we were that much closer than we were before. I noticed that a little bit with a lot of the pictures you take of your team and the talking at the last meet. It seems like you guys are really close in that aspect. And I think that's got to be pretty nice going to meets to know that you have a whole group there with you who know exactly what you're going through and they're able to help out or
and they're I've mentioned this before. Like one of the things that I really like about our team of people here is like we'll go to meets. This last one we had 2 people competing. We had almost everybody still come out to show up and help out and support, and that makes, speaking of like the stress levels of being at the meet, that makes it so much better because then we've got somebody watching the flow of the meet, somebody keeping the person sitting down and shutting up, somebody helping make sure they eat, somebody getting them pre-workout at the right time, somebody to help wrap knees.
Something that somebody wouldn't understand about that though is that isn't because you've put a good team of people together. It's because of the type of coach that you are, right? People feel obligated based on what you've done for them to be there to help you out. And that just goes to show what kind of a coach you are. That isn't like oh, hey, you know what, this guy's competing and we're best friends, so I'm going to go hang out with him. It's like, hey, you know what, Jaron has been over backwards for us. He's going to be there to help support this guy. He's done this for me, so I'm going to go help him also and be a part of the team. And that's something you put together. Not a lot of people could do that. Even the guys that I train with, you know, only 2 showed up. They showed up to help lift off and be a part of it, which is great. I'm glad they did. But this guy had, you know, he was like 12 people deep.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's helping. Everybody's being active. When you saw Jaron, you saw everybody there with him. They all went to breakfast. They all had lunch together. And I mean, that's something, you know, you can't overlook the fact of the type of coaching you're doing to provide that type of support. The competition was 2.5 hours away from your gym.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it was down the street and it was convenient just to pop in and say hi. I mean, so that's a huge deal.
And I think that's something you can go to other meets, and you know, if you're somebody looking for a coach, that's something you can look for, because that's always the way I felt. In individual sports, the way that you tell who the better coaches are the teams that work together.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are focused on, you know, they've worked together, they've worked hard, they've done a lot of work, so they have a team that's ready to, you know, just super close. That was one of the things with coaching swimming was, you know, during the meets, you know, as a coach, I'm not in the water, I'm not doing any of the stuff with them.
Yeah.
But if my team, if I had 8 people, you know, cheering on my one swimmer, and I'd look down and see that the other teams just had, you know, just parents, but none of the swimmers cheering on the swimmers.
Yeah.
That let me know, all right, I'm doing my job right. You know, I got my whole team involved with everybody. I agree with Adrian on that. That's one thing I think we do really well.
Thank you. I never even really dawned on me.
I mean,
It just kind of shows the type of character you are. I mean, it's not like you begged those people to go. You didn't pay them to go. You probably didn't even ask them to go. You just said, hey, I'm going to be here. Be helping these guys out. And they feel obligated to be there or want to be there to help you because the effort that you put into them, which is huge. I mean, you don't find coaches like that very often. So I think it's a huge deal.
So afterwards, we'll both blow you. You know,
Awesome.
That's good.
I'm not.
Must be the jersey.
All right, let's go down. Next, I don't know how.
Next week out, yeah.
Yeah, week after, is that when you get back in the gym from the competition? What are your goals, Adrian, when you get back in the gym?
Here's the thing that really bothers me. A lot of people will fail at a competition. I failed at a competition. Not done what I expect to do. You get this fire inside of you where you're pissed off. You're sitting there and you're watching people. I've even, you know, drove back from a competition and cried because I didn't do well. Right? I'm like mentally beat up because you put all this work into it. You know, you miss people's birthdays, you miss barbecues, you're dieting, you're grouchy, you're pissed off, whatever. And you're driving back home and you fail and it's like, man, this sucks. I let all these people down. I put them all through this, and for what? And the first thing that pops in my head is I want to go to the gym and train harder. Because I didn't train hard enough in the gym, and that's not correct. I did train hard enough in the gym. The difference is you need to carry that fire inside yourself longer than that week. So I've seen this time and time again where somebody will jump into the gym on a Monday and bench heavy after they competed on Saturday, and they have a horrible workout, and then they're pissed off now about the competition and their workout.
Sure.
When you take a couple days off, rest up a little bit, then hit the gym, and then for the next 6 months be pissed off about that one competition. Don't be pissed off for that 1 week and then just go, okay, cool, now I'm good to go. That's what I try to do. I try to constantly remind myself, oh, you remember that one time I was leaving this competition and I started crying in the car on the drive home because I let this person down. You know, I was supposed to spend this time with my kids and I couldn't because I was cutting weight. I was supposed to be doing this and I couldn't do it because I, you know, had something else to do. So those are the types of things I try to carry on for the next 6 months, maybe even year. When I go in the gym and I don't feel like lifting, I just get like really pissed off that I missed out on that stuff.
Jaron, what about you from an athlete standpoint, not a coaching standpoint, but from an athlete standpoint? First time in the gym, what are you doing?
I've done the whole gamut of things. Like I've done the pissed off, like fucking I'm squatting on Monday, and that was horrible. That was stupid. I've also tried to like line too many meets up back to back. So like last year had a meet that went meh, kind of okay, and was like, well, I'm still in meet prep for this next one, so I'm gonna jump right back in on Monday. And I think a lot of when I end up going back to training has to do with kind of how I'm feeling. I've had times where I've taken the entire week off because I felt beat up and just literally beat shit. And then there's times where like 2-3 days later I feel fine because I've not really done anything that's that much more difficult than my training. I like to think that my training is harder than the actual competition.
And you're staying hydrated.
Yeah, and I've stayed hydrated, and I got good sleep and things like that. So I've bounced back and been back in doing just some like bodybuilding type accessory work, like as soon as Tuesday. And I'll just kind of lay off maybe the main 3 movements and just do things getting me moving around. So physically that just kind of depends. I also like to take that week and kind of examine what I could have done better. I'll watch some of the videos of how the lifts went and kind of really put together a game plan for how I'm going to fix the things that I found out. Because I do still kind of wear that coach hat with myself too.
Right.
So I'll at that point typically start working on writing my next block of training. Whether or not there's a meet coming up is going to kind of depend on what that looks like. But I'll kind of put together a plan, and then I'll usually typically start actually training again the following Monday. Once I kind of have that plan solidified, I've had some time to cool off, because I don't necessarily want to come off of either a good or a bad performance and then use that high to then plan out my next 6 months of training.
It's easy to get disappointed.
Yeah, I'd rather take some time, get out of my head, come back at it 3, 4, 5 days later, and then actually put together a good, well thought out plan.
Right. When all this started making sense to me is a guy called me up, hey, I had a horrible meet, I didn't do anything what I needed to do, and I'm hitting the gym right away and I'm going to kill it. And it's like, let's take a step back here and let's look at everything. There's 52 weeks in a year, and if you bench heavy light bi-weekly, what are you getting? 26 heavy sessions in a year, per year. So you're only benching heavy 26 times. That's not if you do competitions, because that's going to take some of those weeks away. Right. So let's just round it up and just say we're doing 20. You're going to bench heavy 20 times in 1 year to prep for a whole year's worth of competitions or whatever. That's not a lot. You have to take all those really seriously. There's none of this like, well, I'm going to go in and it's a heavy day, but I had a bad day or whatever. And it's that's what it started realizing to me, the importance of every single workout and having kind of a calm, cool head approaching your workouts. Not just, I'm gonna make up my bad competition performance in this one session. Just ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna work. So do you guys have any weird, I guess it doesn't have to be weird, just any superstitions whatsoever when it comes to competitions? I say, getting back to the swimming, my teams did. We had superstitions of this chant was said every time right before the meet, for pools, swimmers, we did a lot of the, poured some of our home pool water into the meet pool. It's kind of a little, we're home, we're here. What about for the powerlifters? Jaron, do you have anything you do?
No, all my neuroses are tied to just being here. So I don't use 35-pound plates ever. There's just no reason to. And I like all the plates to match on both sides of the bar.
Oh, all right.
So if you look around, the gym is organized so that like certain plates get used for certain things, and then they're always in like sequential order.
Have you ever had to do at a competition tell them like, I would like this re-rack because those are
No, they're in kilo plates and I can't count them. I can't do that. And they're all the same size, so it's like, all right, that'll do.
Sure. Adrian, what about you?
Yeah, I wear my underwear backwards.
Seriously?
No.
Wait, what?
No, I was trying to think of the name of the song and I can't remember. There's one song that if I hear it, it freaks me out.
Wrecking Ball?
No, it's by that Army Nation or 7 Army Nation, whatever. It came out like
the White Stripes, Seven
White.
Nation.
Yeah, that song.
Is it AWOL Nation?
So no, it's this.
So the song's called Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
So I used to really like that song, right? It used to jack me up, whatever. I go to a competition, they have it blasting on my first attempt, and I go down, bar hits my chest, press. Take it. They took it. Next attempt, I go in and I smash it. But to this day, anytime that song comes in training, I'm in the car, whatever, done. Turn it off, get away from it. It's just been kind of like a bad luck for me. Sure. If I heard it in a competition, I would not take my attempt. I will sit through that song and wait or have them change it.
No Nickelback.
It was
That's
not.
the other one. I have video from
life thing.
2 or 3 different meets, missing lifts, and Nickelback was playing, and I couldn't hear it because at the time I was all jacked up. But I hate Nickelback.
Do you have a song, Jaron, that like this is like a good one, not one that you hate that you have to turn off, but like this is the song I need to hear.
Yeah, but I can't really say the name of it. It's by C Murder.
Why can't you say the name of it?
Because it's offensive.
Alright, what's the name of a song? So it's not. I mean, alright,
Well,
whatever. So
We could
C
be like,
Murder, okay.
forget those other homies, as like, but C Murder. I also like Whoa by Black Rob, and then some DMX, as long as it's not like the ones where he's just all talking about dicks and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, yo, bitch.
Hey, you know, I'm coming around. Adrian, do you have one that's like a good song for you? Not one that you hate, but a good one?
Yeah, so something that I listen to before every first attempt is Super Beast by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And I crank that up as loud as I can. Sometimes I'll listen to it a couple times, but that, for whatever reason, that song just fires me up and gets me going. And then another one is the Drop Dead Murphys or Dropkick Murphys. I don't know what the name of the song
State
is.
of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get that going, and when I hear the bagpipes in the back and stuff's going, like, instantly fires me up. And
I can picture you getting into a bar fight to that song.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
see
man,
that happening
yeah.
too.
Absolutely. If that got put on the jukebox, it'd be pool sticks getting broken
Yeah.
and shoved in people's face.
Blarney Stoops!
So those are my kind of my go-to. Every now and then I'll listen to hip hop or rap. It doesn't. I like listening to that when I'm training, but it doesn't typically get me in the right mindset of trying to be kind of pissed off and want to push as hard as I can.
That's something I noticed with it when I trained for a triathlon and like for swimming, for the longer swimming events. It was hip hop. It was the Heartless by Kanye West. That beat just playing over and over again. I could swim and run for days listening to that. But if it was a short sprint or something where I had to use everything right then and there, I couldn't be hip hop. For me, it was Fuel by Metallica.
Yeah.
That intro, that give me fuel, give me fire, right there, just instantly jacks me up. And I've always found that kind of interesting because I've noticed in the gym, in the training, when we lift on like Wednesdays, we usually listen to hip hop. But then I was expecting hip hop at the Lift for Autism, and it's all heavy metal. And I was wondering, kind of made me think of the days that I swam.
Yeah.
Hip hop wasn't my like, ooh, I got to get this all out right now, but it was one that I could stretch out and keep me entertained.
Yep.
Well, I think a lot of it, I mean, especially at the meets, is just going to come down to audience. It's harder to please a big crowd of people with hip hop.
Right. You also have to worry about things like language.
Well,
I don't know if you guys do during.
If you go, there's Pandora, you can set it to filter everything.
Yeah.
We did that at the Dornbecker event because you've not been here in the evening when I can actually turn it all up, but I've got a pretty decent system in here, and so we can rattle the walls and make this place sound like the trunk of a Honda.
Nice.
So you get some good hip hop going with a good amount of bass in a small space, and then it makes sense. But that pisses off most people, so they always just want to listen to AC/DC.
Right.
So let's kind of put maybe a checklist together real quick of somebody who's night before meet, day of meet, and then maybe the week after, what we kind of expect. If you want to start it off with maybe kind of just a checklist somebody could write down and go, okay, I'm going to follow these guys' advice. This is how I'm going to prep for my next meet.
5 things to prep. Let's start though with the day before.
Get all your gear together, or don't.
I would say just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, get all your gear together, get it in one place, get your food packed. You can obviously leave it in the fridge, but get your food packed, get your Gatorades mixed, get all of the things that you're going to need the next day ready to go the night before, have them waiting by the door so that way, should you oversleep your alarm or anything like that, you're good to go.
Maybe we should talk to Jeff about that.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
that's weird.
You never overslept an alarm. Hey, I actually did that too, though, so I can't talk shit. Yeah, I can talk shit.
I woke up late. I just happened to get here on time, but I
Yeah.
still woke up late. Okay, so that's a physical things to know.
Yeah.
Mentally, what's a mental checklist for day before? Is there a certain spot the head should be in?
Try
Adrian?
and
Visualize. Think about your training. You're not doing anything you haven't done before. Everything that you're going to do in this competition is stuff you've done before in the gym. So wrap your head around that. You're not going to the moon. You're not doing something you've never done before. The worst part of the competition is you're going to be wearing a singlet, so everybody's going to see the outline of your junk, and you're benching in front of or lifting in front of 50, 60, maybe 100 people. So just take a step back and, hey, I do this all the time. That's the biggest thing people need to realize.
I think trust your training, because I mean, if you set things up intelligently, you can look back over the last 12 weeks of what you've done and said, based on the plan that I have set out, there is no reason that I should not hit the numbers that I'm looking to hit, and I have 12 weeks worth of training that backs up this fact. If you do that, you can come into it a lot more pragmatically and less spastic.
Okay, so morning of, Adrian, physical things you need, checklist.
One of the things I didn't bring up that I really like to eat is deviled eggs with bacon in it. So before the meat, I like it because it's kind of salty, but it also fill you up. So I'll take some of those. Physical wise, just making sure you have everything ready to go. Everything should be kind of your same routine of the morning. Don't say, okay, now I'm gonna add this in because I want to do well today. Don't take pre-workouts you haven't taken before. Everything's just got to be the same of stuff that you're used to, so everything just kind of lines up for you.
And then Jaron, mentally,
Take a shit, physical.
Physical, take a shit. That's number one. Mental though, while you're shitting, what are you thinking about day before? Is you still doing, or not day before, but morning of? Is it still
Morning
visualizing? Or?
Morning of is visualizing for me. It's reminding myself, the same thing I was just saying, of all the time and the planning I put into the training, of how much work and focus I put into each session as part of the training, and how I've done all of the steps that I need to do to be as best prepared as I can be for today. And just kind of running through the lifts. I know what the attempts are going to be within reason, and just kind of really putting myself through the steps of the things that I can control, and then everything else is not, it's not up to me.
Right.
If the meet runs fast or runs slow, that's not something that I can prepare for or control, so there's no point in worrying about it. But control the things that I can, accept the things that you can't, and just kind of go into the day expecting to do well, and then also just having fun, because really at the end of the day I'm not getting paid for it.
Right.
Maybe as a new lifter, when you're there during a meet day, as long as you're not the very first lifter of the day, check out what the judges are doing. So have an idea of, okay, is this going to be a long pause? Is it going to be a short pause?
Yeah.
Are they quick? Are they slow? Are the loaders loading the bar relatively quick? So when they call my name, is it time like I should already have my reps, already on?
Sure.
Those kind of things. So just take a step back and look at what all is going on.
All right. So what about afterwards? You've done your lifts now. What?
Make sure you
Adrian,
eat and stay hydrated
what?
during the day.
So throughout the day, just making sure you're staying fresh and all that. So now your lifts are done though. What are we doing? What are things, physical things you need to do before you go home and crash?
Eating beer.
Yeah.
Eating beer.
Eat. Get a
Relax,
little bit of
unwind.
beer. Yeah.
Sure.
Just unwind. Make sure you sleep well. Don't overthink anything that you're doing. Don't overthink your training. Don't overthink what you're going to do going forward.
Yeah.
So that's not the time or place for it.
So you guys would probably recommend don't review any of your stuff
No.
that night. Maybe save that for a different
Just
day.
save it for another day.
Right.
Just cap the day, have some balance. Don't let the event, whether it went well or poorly, don't let it make you obsessive. Because there's nothing that you're going to be able to do that night. And the more you sit and stress about it, I think the longer it's going to affect your recovery.
Sure. All right. That was pretty good. We covered
All right.
quite a bit on that one. That was solid. Do we have any questions to go over? I don't think we have any questions for this week. I also don't think we have a video for this week either. But real quick, while Jaron looks
Why
at
don't we watch that video of that guy that deadlifts and then passes out and hits his face on the dumbbells?
Oh, I'm good
Wasn't
with
that Jim Laird?
I don't know. Was it?
No. It was either him or it was Ladusky.
No, it was some kid.
Well, while they're looking that up, I'm going to get some of these plugs out of the way. Make sure you guys visit us at chalktalk.tv. You can watch our podcast there, listen to it there, see all of our great sponsors. Look us up on YouTube, Chalk Talk page, posting videos all the time. We got Adrian's putting up the Alpha Project Minute. You'll start seeing those up on the page more and more. Check us out on Twitter at Chalk Talk 503 and Instagram, same thing, Chalk Talk 503, or Facebook. That's always a great way. Please get on Facebook, send us some questions so we can review them over on our next episode. Adrian, where can some people find you at?
On all the social media, Alpha Project, like Instagram and stuff, it's the underscore in between. Twitter is the same. Facebook, Alpha Project, or Adrian Larson. You can email me if you have any questions or want to get any of our information at alphaprojectbench@gmail.com. My website's under construction, but when that's all said and done, that'll be at training.org.
And Spelling Bee Master, where can we find you at?
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JeronKerridge. Consolidated.
Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube. Just pull up Savage Gym. The YouTube channel's under Savage Gym.
So check out his YouTube page too, because you post videos on there all the time. You got some pretty good lifts up there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I got some instructional stuff. I've got some footage of just some of the guys that are training out of here, and then I keep pretty up-to-date training log of everything that I'm doing. So
I felt bad the other day when I looked on there because I actually didn't realize I hadn't subscribed yet. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, son of a, so I quickly hit that. Which that's something all you guys should be doing too, though. Subscribe to our stuff on YouTube. That way we know people are watching.
That's the thing, when I post my stuff, I, promote Chalk Talk quite a bit, but then also trying to push people in different directions, like following your YouTube page, just as an informational thing.
Right.
There's a lot of good stuff you can get out of watching his videos and allowing him to, kind of show you maybe some technical stuff that a lot of people overlook.
well, and we're all even Jeff, who's not with us.
That's weird.
Pour a little out for the homies. We're all putting up different content. So, we've got our Chalk Talk content on that page, but there's some really good information being passed around between the three of us,
Yeah.
4 of us. Do you have anything? Do you post anything?
No, not really.
Okay. Between the 3 out of 4
I
of
post
us.
really cool comics to read. That's about it.
People read comics, I
Hey.
don't. But never mind, I won't get distracted.
God.
Yes, I will. I watched the Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah.
I did a nerdy thing and wore a sports thing. It actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks not bad, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be a good
I
one.
didn't know that the other one had been leaked, so they actually released
So they
the
just
real
released
trailer.
the real thing, yeah.
So yeah, you can find
Let's
me in all
watch
those
this guy
places.
deadlift. This is pretty funny. I laugh about this all the time. I feel bad for him because I'm sure he got hurt.
Here we go, come
I
on.
don't want him to get hurt.
He's gonna get hurt right here.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, there it is. Nice.
I think we probably should have called him first to see if it was okay for his video.
You can email us.
All right, just email us.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, there
You gotta
it is.
want it.
Nice.
Loving that.
Yeah.
Oh, into dumbbells. That's not a pillow.
I love too though that the person filming didn't
starts
like, wanna
laughing.
help him.
No.
He laughs and
Yeah.
just watches as
So
he sees his
I'm
little.
gonna
brother
find.
down.
I'm pretty sure it's this, but I want to find this one.
Adrian, I know you've never passed out doing a deadlift, but Jaron, have you ever passed out doing a deadlift?
No, but I have shit my pants.
Really poop?
Yeah.
Like physically poop.
Yeah, the videos on
Like-
on YouTube. There's another
So
reason.
why
to
have we
subscribe
not
to
watched
channel.
that one?
Yeah, this one here.
When you pooped yourself, I have follow up questions.
Whoa, whoa.
Were there people there?
Yeah, like he's actually.
Hey, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I just hit my head on a rack.
That guy looks like that. He's that UFC fighter who used to just throw punches but couldn't really fight. Had the big beard.
Oh, that's
Man.
that fat guy Tank Abbott.
Tank Abbott. Yeah, that guy looked like Tank Abbott right there.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't offend him either.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope not.
Sorry,
We're
Matt.
laughing with you. You posted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shit myself.
That's awesome.
It's not. It really wasn't.
We're watching that video next
Yeah.
time, just so you know. Yeah, wait
There's,
for that
there's
one
some
next
commentary. It was
Oh,
not
man.
good. I was trying to pull 600 and I had gotten food poisoning the night before, but I was like, well, I got a deadlift. I was getting ready for a meet. I was like, I got a deadlift and I really need to double 600 today, so we'll see how this goes. And it was like,
Were there people here?
no, I was alone.
Oh man.
That's too
I know.
bad. That's too
Oh,
bad.
that could have only been better if there were people here.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
You know, when we went to Mexico, I had like what he's talking about for probably 2 weeks.
From when you got back?
Yeah.
Oh.
My
They call
tummy
it
was
Montezuma's
upset.
revenge.
My tummy was upset.
I still remember on that trip. So we went for graduation. The president went to Mexico, all inclusive resort. And I remember we drank way too much on that trip. Like the whole time we were drinking. But I remember that there was a spot where we got this nice dinner. It's this fancy dinner night, and here we're two jerk offs in shorts and Hawaiian shirts out there with these couples having a fancy romantic dinner. I get my nice lobster bisque, and he gets this like Caesar salad. But but it's like the leaf salad, so it's just 3 big
God.
leaves. He's kind of drunk. We're kind of like, well, I'm laughing at him like, oh, you jackass, you should have got the soup, man. I'm telling you. He picks up the leaves and just. We're sitting there like they have this place fancied out. All these people in nice clothes eating, and this jackass is here.
One thing I'll never forget about that trip is the booze cruise.
Oh yeah.
And I'm deathly afraid of snakes. Deathly afraid of snakes. Like if I see a gardener snake, I'll piss myself and run in the opposite direction. And apparently after this booze cruise, I got out and some lady or guy had a snake wrapped around his neck, and I went up and started petting it.
Oh, and then he lets the guy put the snake on him, and he's like, "Hey, Josh, take a picture of me. I got the snake on me. Take a picture of me." Absolutely loving it, and I'm staying 20 feet away because I also am deathly afraid of snakes, and I'm not going to go near that.
Yeah.
I like though too how you say booze cruise. It wasn't a booze cruise. It was like a nice way.
Just a cruise.
It
We
was
were
a
just
spot,
hammering.
right, where people on the boat could go out and do some snorkeling and
Actually, a Disney
families.
vacation.
So
Right.
it was families that were there, or people on their honeymoons who were like just there to relax.
Yeah.
And then me and him, who just started slamming drinks because at 9 a.m. they started giving us drinks.
Why not?
And we kept going, and then they let him drive the boat for a little bit. And
Not a super good idea.
yeah, bad
No.
idea. Because we were the ones who decided we're too drunk to go snorkeling. Everybody else gets off the boat and goes snorkeling.
So they let you
And
drive a cruise ship
This
instead?
is like 2 hours into it that we get to this part to go snorkeling, and we decide no, we can't do that. We drank too much, so instead they let him drive the boat. So that was. We gotta finish this up.
Yeah.
Great episode. We'll catch you guys next week. I've been waiting to do this since when you were talking about the story. Don't stop believing.
Suck it.